Hey, honey?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, everybody! Welcome to another Wars Wednesday. I am sorry I haven't put one out in a long time. But, yeah, no, ooh, I gotta move this over out of the way a little bit. That's our custom playmat. Oh, gotta point the other finger. That's our custom playmat for the channel. If we get up to 500 subscribers, I'll be giving away one of those. But that's not what you came here today for. You came here to see me talk about the new set. So I'm gonna try to keep myself a little bit on task here with a little minute timer. So now let's say, what can I say about now let's say? I think this is going to be a lot like Hera was in set one, where it was a cool, interesting leader to draft around and get to play with a bunch of off aspects in the draft format. That's not to say that there isn't somebody out there who's going to come out of the gate swinging with like a really interesting, now let's say, like 6-color clone deck. But unlike Hera, where Hera could definitely lean into like a lot of the abilities that she had, where it was like discarding cards from your opponent's deck. There was like a Hera blue mill deck. I don't see that being an option in the clones. I see the clones as being like, we're going to go wide in villainy, and if we need to reset the board by dropping a tactical nuke, then we're going to heal a bunch off of our base once we super laser blast to clear our own board, heal ourselves all the way back up to full, and then start rebuilding after that. Again, now say in limited, I think is going to be really good because you're going to basically be able to pair her with some other color and villainy. Just take all the good clone units that come by. Definitely clone. You can only use it with clone units. You can't use it with clone cards, but almost all the cards that are clones are clone units. So you're basically able to just take whatever good clone cards you see coming around the table, take whatever good Darkseid always has the best removal packages, and you just kind of like slap this deck together and just like, okay. And it leaves you way open in limited and draft, so you don't have to stick to those colors. And sealed deck, you get a good pool of clone troopers, then you're all set. So yeah, I can see this being a popular one for limited, and definitely one I want to try out. But that is what she wrote on that one. Newt Gungree, it's not the signature leader you're going to want to do for the extort decks, but he does have the whole thing of like, if 2 or more friendly units were defeated this phase, create a battle droid token, but you need those other 2 units to create. He does get one on his flip when he goes over to his leader side, being a 2/8. He does create battle droid tokens on attack. So, but you're going to need a lot of the battle droid token making cards to synergize with this to get his front side going. Even though that's cool, it's like you've sacrificed 2 things, extorted them to get a bigger unit on the field, and you're already starting to build back up your board. So Newt, I think, is going to be good in limited, but I don't think he's going to be the end-all, be-all leader for that. Next up, we got Obi-Wan Kenobi. Action, heal 1 damage from a unit. Kind of nice. Just be able to heal something up. Make your opponent have to put more resources into removing something is always good. And he has his flip into a 4/7 with Sentinel, because, Obi-Wan is always going to take all the brunts of everybody's attacks. And when you attack, you heal 1 damage from a unit. If you do deal 1 damage to a different unit, just move that damage around onto something else. I think it's cool, but I'd still rather be playing like Young Han or Chirrut in a blue deck as a heroism leader. Nothing really Yoda, the card everybody is talking about being the new hotness for blue base 4 stacks. He does flip on turn 7. He's into a 4/9, but he has the action. If a unit left play this phase, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of the bottom of your deck. You're going to be trading units a lot in this game. Something's dying every turn. Just being able to draw a card, then basically put like the worst card you got or something you want to hide from your opponent. If they're playing a lot of hand disruption stuff that you want to be able to draw next turn, putting that back on top, or just putting something you want later in the game back into your deck is a good play. And when he does come out on turn 6 on your 7 resource turn, if you're ramping with him, he's got Restore 2, just like his regular character unit, except he's a 4/9, a lot harder to remove than the old man Yoda. And when he's deployed, you may discard a card from your deck. If you do, defeat an enemy non-leader unit that costs the same or less as the discard card. That's some of those reasons why you want to put stuff back on top so you know what it is. And yeah, his front side, when you're able to put stuff back on top, you got a 3PO in play. You're able to name the card you want to name and draw it right back up. There's actually a card that works. It actually gives like a cool little like name the top card if it does in the set that works with Yoda. I see a lot of people are going to try to build Yoda in constructed. I think limited is an aggro format. You want to be aggressive, and trying to set stuff up for like a turn 7 is not where you want to be planning your stuff to really be happening in limited. So I think this is going to see a lot more constructed than it will limited play. Count Dooku. This is the exploit leader you want to see, and I think I'm going to see a bunch of this at pre-release and in draft. Dooku just being able to give exploit, and exploit is cumulative. It adds. So if you're already going to be playing an exploit 2 card from your hand, guess what? That's now an exploit 3 card. And the exploits ability is not as risky as it is in constructed because we still have power to the dark side floating around, which is like sacrifice all my units to play a big unit, and your opponent's just like got 3 resources up and they're like power of the dark side. So I think we're going to see a lot more Dooku in limited than we will in constructed just because of power of the dark side. But nah, it's good. And his flip side, once you finally get him over, he is on 7 resources. He becomes a 5/9 with Overwhelm. Just being able to attack into a lot of early mid-range stuff and get that extra damage in. And then when he attacks, the next card you play this phase gets exploit 3. So again, it's cumulative. It stacks. So yeah. You could be playing some like exploit 6 cards and just be like, I got a free big thing. Next up is Wat Tambor. Action: give a friendly unit that was if a friendly unit was defeated this phase, basically if you extorted something, give a unit +2/+2 for the phase. He flips on turn 5, and he becomes a 3/6. And on attack, friendly unit was defeated this phase. You give another unit +2/+2 for this phase. I like that it doesn't give raid. I like that it actually gives a straight up stat boost, because your opponent knows, okay, that's going to be attacking, or you can put it on something that's got Sentinel, so that way you're actually definitely buffing the thing that you want to them to attack into. The fact that it is, you no longer need you still need something to be defeated, so you still have to have extorted something or lost something in a trade, or had something, bite the removal bullet in order to turn him on. That really does limit this. I don't think this is going to be a go-to, really, unless you've got, like, some really super, like, Sentinel up exploit units. I think other than that, yeah, we'll move along. I mean, it does give a good aggro punch, but that extra +2/+2. But you're jumping through a lot of hoops. You got to have something die no matter what, and that's just, even if it is a 1/1 dying, to be able to play your other stuff so you can get your bigger stuff. It's too much work. It's too much hoops. All right, Captain Rex. A friendly unit attack this phase, create a clone trooper. No problem there. That is not a hoop. That is just, I attacked with something. I will pay 2 resources, and because I got it extra, I'll make Captain Rex bring me in a clone trooper. I hit 5 resources, and then it's like for free. Make a clone trooper, and all my other friendly troopers get +1/+0. Oh, +0/+1. So all of them are all my standard clone troopers that don't have any buffs on them are all going to be 2/3s. That's amazing. I think Rex is the leader you want to go for if you are going for any sort of go wide strategy of just like, okay, I attack, pay a little extra, make a clone trooper. That in and of itself, on 5 resources, you can attack with a unit, activate Captain Rex, play another unit, flip Captain Rex. You don't have, you've got, hopefully you'll have 4 units on the board. Maybe you'll just have 3, but and he actually creates an extra one when he flips. So if all of those units, so you got the one you attacked with, the one you paid for 3, the one you created with Captain Rex, and the one created when Captain Rex flipped, plus Captain Rex, that's 5 units on turn 5. If your opponent does not kill any of them, that's a huge board presence to have with Captain Rex. And I think Captain Rex is definitely going to be one of the go-to leaders in this set. I mean, he is the rare one. So if you see Captain Rex in your sealed pool, you might be thinking, Captain Rex, Padme Amidala. Somebody's gonna build a cool Padme Amidala deck in Constructed, but she just lets you reveal and get a unit. She doesn't create a unit. That does not help with coordinate like Rex does. Does tie up a resource to be able to search. You're only searching 3 cards deep. She does have Restore 1, and on her attack, on her flip, and you got Coordinate, it saves you the 1 resource. It's still not really, I think you're digging for gas. And Rex gives you gas. I think Padme, I don't know, I think Padme is like the wah leader for this set. Which probably means that it will be the one I get the showcase of. Okay, so next up we got Maul. His action is just tap, attack with unit, it gains overwhelm, action economy, free extra damage because you've got something big that you want to swing into one of their small little clone troopers or one of their little 1/1 battle droids. And you're making it, let them go, I didn't want to have to actually dedicate resources to that thing that just ran over my battle droid, but now I have to. It's got a little damage on it, but if I leave this thing alone, that's just going to untap next turn and just steamroll me over again. Okay, it puts a question into your opponent's mind. And when he flips on 6 resources, he has overwhelm, gives everything else overwhelm. So if you do have that more aggressive stint and you have ways to chip some damage in there, you know, some of these effects that let you deal like 1 or 2 damage across the board, and then you're attacking with overwhelm units. That's good. I think Maul is probably, if you got some of the red grenade chucking effects, you definitely want to grab him, grab those to go with him. And I think there's room for, there's a lot of stuff that's got some high like 3-4 power And a lot of stuff, because there's going to be a lot of clone trooper tokens floating around in this format, are only going to have 1 or 2 defense. And there's no shields in this set, so Maul is definitely going to overwhelm is going to put a fast clock on some people. And this is definitely going to be your villainy aggro deck that you're going to be building as Maul. Next up is Pre-Vizsla. Action, pay a resource, and tap him. Deal damage to a unit equal number of cards you've drawn this phase. Okay. So I want to do a bunch of stuff to draw cards. Drawing extra cards in this game is kind of meh. But if this includes drawing in the regroup phase, but the regroup phase is the end of your phase. Oh, wait, no. So it's like ever since you started taking actions and you got to draw a bunch of cards, and that's more of a hero thing of getting you to draw some extra cards and stuff. Okay. And then, you flip. While you have 3 more cards in your hand, this unit gains Saboteur. While you have 6 or more cards in your hand, this unit gains +2/+0. Okay, this might actually be the most useless one that I'm probably going to get the hyperspace of, because it's relying on you to have buku cards in hand instead of it's relying on you having a lot of cards in your hand, and that's not really the red aggro-y aggression format is not to hold your stuff in your hand. So I think it's not going to see a lot of play in limited, because those cards in your hand are not cards on the table attacking your opponent in the face, and you want to have them in a control environment where you do get some of the really good blue villainy card drawing stuff. I'm looking at you, Dr. Persian. You're gonna want to be in that aspect. We don't have all the cheapo bounty cards that let you get some free let your opponent get some free draw card. He's not in the right set, but I think he would have been busted in limited if he was in Shadows, which I think is why Pre-Vizsla got moved over to this set, to keep him from being broken in limited. And now he's just kind of somebody's I got Pre-Vizsla, I didn't get Maul. It's did you get any other red villainy? No, you didn't get the other red villainy leader? Sorry, bud. Might as well play a non-red villainy leader and just use a red base. Alright, Ahsoka Tano. Okay, you're never going to get her in draft. Only going to get her in the pre-release. And that being said, I think she is good for pre-release, because she is on point with what Heroism wants to do, is go wide. As long as you got enough cards to basically be able to give yourself 3 units. She flips on turn 5, so she's pretty aggressive. And it is action economy. You're just activating her to attack with unit. It gets +1/+0. Just an extra little bit of chip damage. I wish that instead of her being the one that gets the +2/+0, it would have been everybody coordinate. Everybody gets a +1/+0. But it is static on her, so that does turn her into, even when she's getting attacked, a 5/6, as long as you got more units on the board. I think there's probably going to be quite a few. If you got a good pool of make clone troopers and go wide strategy, I think she'll be good just to give you extra bits of chip damage. But honestly, I'd rather play Captain Rex if I don't see her. If I don't see Captain Rex and I do have a good hero pool, I think Ahsoka is going to be on my list. But if I've just got a good clone trooper pool and it not good go wide clone trooper pool, then now let's say I'd probably be the pecking order for a clone go wide deck is Captain Rex, Ahsoka Tano, Nalase. Like either using Nalase or Ahsoka, depending on if I got like some good actual hero cards to support or if I've got good villainy cards to support. Which I love that because it's like a really good flex in Limited. Anakin Skywalker. He only flips on turn 6. He has the action, deal 2 damage to your base, attack with a unit. If it's attacking another unit, it gets +2/+0 for this attack. So basically, you get to take 2 damage to your base to give raid 2 and attack with a unit. That's decent. It definitely does have the philosophy of Fire from Magic the Gathering, where it's like all gas, no brakes. That does make me like kind of look at it like if I don't have a lot of coordinate and I'm in hero red and I got a lot of aggro, I would probably play Anakin. It's just the whole thing of like in Magic you can choose to block things, but you're probably gonna want to be like definitely want to have some Sentinels in this deck to speed bump your opponent down because all you're doing is helping them. But action economy and you really only want to use his ability if you're attacking. You don't want to use his ability just to attack with a unit. Yeah, and by the time you get ready to flip him, you're only going to use it a few times just to take out some key units. And if you're using that to trade up, think about it. If you just need to trade up and deal like 5 damage to kill off an enemy unit, and that enemy unit could deal 5 damage back to your base, that's a good trade. Take 2 damage instead of taking 5. That's a good trade. Alright. Anakin's flip side. The unit has +1/+0 for every 5 damage on your base. By the time you get ready to flip him, you're probably already going to deal 6 damage to yourself, at least. So he's definitely going to be a 5/7. With Overwhelm. Give this boy some lightsabers and let him go to town. Because, yeah. That he need him. He needs to be pumped. And just Overwhelm. Good on. It's going to be a beat stick when you flip him. Especially if you wait and flip him late. And you got like 15 points of damage on your base. And you're attacking with a 7/7 Overwhelm. That just rips through a battle droid and deals 6 damage right onto them. Might even be lucky enough. They're like, and you're like, nah, I got like a General's Blade at Anakin. I'm gonna flip him over, swing with a 10/10 into a 1/1, take 9 to your base, and then I don't even have to do anything else after this. I can just attack with this other unit and be like, yeah. So, it's. Anakin's gonna be deadly. Everybody's gonna be like, no, you're taking damage to your base. It's like, dude, your life total, your hand, your deck, it's all resources. Use whatever you want. Learn the philosophy of fire. Alright, Mace Windu. I wanted him to be good. It's got the action, you pay a resource, deal 1 damage to an enemy unit. Then if it has 5 more damage onto it, deal another damage. So if something's got 4 damage onto it, you can take it up to 6. If that don't kill it, you got a problem. But a lot of the early game, you're not going to be wanting to do this. So you have a leader that has a dead action on the board. He does make like bombing runs like good, because anything that survives after the bombing run, you can be like, ping it. And my turn, I'll ping it and ping it again. And be like, okay. But that's constructed. It's flip side. What does the flip side do? Deal 2 damage to each damaged enemy unit. Again, constructed where you want to be able to play grenade throws and bombing runs and all sorts of all these other like I'll deal damage to everything on the board. You're playing like an off. You're just playing stuff that pings everything, and then you're like, I'll flip him and I'll deal 2 more to everything. It's like, much more. I see much more options for him in constructed than I am in limited. Like, the damage that he deals is not really effective enough to make him good. It's just enough to make him okay. Ping a little bit here, and we'll hit everybody. You need the other cards to make him good. Asajj Ventress, action attack with a unit. If you played an event this phase, it gets +1/+0 for this attack. Definitely a much more of a constructed control deck to be able to give your few little units you throw into a control deck actually have a little bit more punch, a little more reach. There's a lot of events that you want to play from set 1, set 2 with this to make it a little bit better. Her flip side, she does flip on 4, which means she does go into the aggro camp. She is a 3/4, and on attack, if you played an event this phase, this unit gets +1 so for this attack and deals combat damage before the defender. So you have a 4/4 first strike leader. As long as you played some sort of other event. Yeah, like I was talking about Mace, Asajj has much more potential in constructed than she does in limited. So let's move on. General Grievous, again, we're going to be playing with pre-release kits. Pre-release kits got Grievous, they got Ahsoka in it. Action, give a droid sentinel for this phase. Yeah, just that has sentinel. You have to attack that. You can't attack anything else. Sacrificing droids into Grievous to keep other droids alive, making your opponent have to take some chip damage off of one of your small units, keeping them off your base. Definitely is a stall tactic that I think will be very nice in limited, but the problem is you're giving all these battle droids that don't have shields Sentinel, which means they're going to die, which means you're not going to be able to use them for exploit, which means this is, if you don't have a lot of exploit, but you do have a lot of good battle droids, here's the deck for you to play. Granted, I think exploit is just going to be such an oppressive mechanic in format. Like, just people dropping, like, insanely nasty, like, turn 3 plays where they're just dropping, like, 9/9s for nothing and then putting other stuff out is gonna be dirty. It's gonna be dirty and gross and nasty. Nobody's gonna like it. Jango Fett. He is a turn 5 flip leader, a 5 resource flip leader. He is a 3/4 when he becomes a unit, and when he becomes a unit, he has a friendly unit deals damage to an enemy unit. You may exhaust that unit. On his on his normal leader side, it just, when a friendly unit deals damage to you, you may exhaust this leader if you do exhaust the enemy unit. So basically, he gets to do it on his flip side. You attack in with a little battle droid. You can attack in with all your little small battle droids, exhaust all their units, and then hit in with to tap down their big stuff. Then you can just swing in with whatever you got left over after you've tapped down their board by making sacrifice plays. Keep their best unit tapped down if you got a lot of... Again, it's not exploiting. You're using your tokens and your droid. You're using your battle droids and clone troopers as cannon fodder to use Jango's ability. When you flip him, you're just going to send in wave after wave after wave after wave of droid to tap down all their stuff. They're probably only going to actually be able to attack with like half the things they have out there, and then you're finish them off with playing all of your really big stuff into their face. I think Jango's cool, but you're not going to be using the exploit feature in the deck. You're going to be looking for a lot more of your ambush, your overwhelms and stuff like that to really like grind into somebody's face. Alright, Chancellor Palpatine, Darth Sidious. Everybody's kind of like, well, you know, it's 4-color deck. it's a 4-color deck. You got cunning, you got heroic, and you got villainy, but you can only get you don't have the villainy aspect on his hero side, and you don't have the hero aspect when he's on his villainy side. So you have to make all these weird little plays. The fact that he does start going and flipping back, you can control him flipping back and forth once you get that first flip out of him. It's easy to start flipping him back and forth. The downside is that, getting into the flip the first time, so you're definitely going to be drafting like quite a few little like cannon fodder or easily sacrificed, like, turn one play hero units to be able to like, okay, I got to flip him back over to his, I got to have this die so I can flip him back over. And I don't know, a skilled player I think can make it work in limited, but I think he's really going to shine in constructed when you have like the ability to play the best of like both sides of the force, and you're playing like, 1, 2, 3 different aspects, and you're like, we're having fun. But you're definitely going to have to, you definitely need to be a brewer and know how to build your decks in order to play him in limited. But still probably be heck of fun. Alright, Quinlan Voss is our last of our leaders. When you play a unit, it may exhaust this leader. If you do, deal 1 damage to an enemy unit that costs the same as the played unit. Has to be the same cost. In limited, chances are playing on curve. Yeah. When you flip him, it's a static. Whenever you do it, you get to do it. I don't... Too many hoops to jump through for the ping. And... I mean... Bo-Katan in set 2 let us do it anytime we attacked with a Mandalorian deck. And because we were playing Bo-Katan, we drafted mono Mandos to be able to get that ping every time. Or we got Cad Bane and we drafted all the Underworld cards we could, so we're able to get that ping every single time. We can't, without having like perfect knowledge, like foresight of like exactly what our opponent is going to play every single time. We can't even have the initiative to get full use out of this. This card is bad. Like, not even like build around me bad. It's just kind of like, well, we threw this in here just in case people wanted to play something else. But it's just like, it's bad. It's, my opinion, one of the worst leaders we've had so far. And I have played Thrawn, Dr. Aphra, and Lando in events. Like, and those 3 leaders are like bad. And this is bad too. Like, some people might think Quinlan Voss is one of their favorite characters, but he did his leader dirty. This is, you're gonna have to flip it in order to actually get the good side out of it. Like, I mean, it should have just been same or less than it would have actually been decent and playable. Would have been on par with Bo-Katan, would have been on par with Cad Bane, but on this level, it's kind of like, well, my opponent played a 2-drop. Now I have to play a 2-drop, but my 3-drop would actually win me the game if I played it instead. But I can't get to use my leader. He's gonna sit there until he gets flipped, and then once he gets flipped, and your opponent's like, no, he needs to die. He's only 7 toughness. Granted, he flips on turn 5 with only 7 toughness, but you better be putting some lightsabers on this boy. All right, that's the leaders. That's how I build the decks. That's my pecking order. Who I think's good, who I think's bad. I already talk your ear off for a half hour. So next week we will be talking, hopefully, how I've done at the pre-releases. So wish me luck. May the force be with you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Hey everybody, thanks for staying till the end of the episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Board Barista Productions. And if you want to support us, Patreon link at the bottom.